Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for tonight's reading, part of our online Histories Reading Festival. If you are enjoying this festival, we ask you to consider making a donation to Brave Spirits Theater in support of Shakespeare's Histories. You can find the link in the description in the YouTube channel. I'm very excited about tonight's reading, Thomas of Woodstock, because we've reunited our Histories Ensemble cast of Richard II, all returning in their same roles from that play, but performing them in a different play. So I'm going to hand it over now to Emily McLeod, who directed this reading.
Hi, Charlene. Thank you so much. I am Emily McLeod. I am a dramaturg with Brave Spirits Theater, as well as a PhD candidate at the George Washington University, doing my dissertation on Shakespeare and performance. I'd like to welcome all the cast to pop up in their screens here so they can introduce themselves as well.
Hello, my name is Gary Dubriel. I'll be playing Richard II.
Good evening, I'm Caroline Johnson. I'm playing Queen Anne and Murderer Number 2.
Hi, friends. I'm Tom Howley. I will be the Duke of Lancaster, John of Gaunt, as well as the ghost of Edward the Black Prince.
Hi, I'm Zach Brewster-Geis. I'll be playing the Duke of York, as well as Master Ignorance and the ghost of Edward III.
Hi, my name is Dean Carlson, and I'll be playing Thomas of Woodstock, the Duke of Gloucester.
Hello, everyone. I'm Molly E. Thomas, and I'll be playing the Duchess of Gloucester, as well as Scroop.
Hi, Lisa Hill Corley. I'll be playing Cheney and a soldier.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Bannigan. I'll be playing Bushy and the Butcher.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Chenault, and I will be playing Baggett and a farmer.
Hey, I'm Joshua Williams. I'm going to be playing Green and Cowtail.
Hi, I'm Dwayne Richards, and I will be playing Tresillian.
I'm Ian Blackwell Rogers, and I will be playing Nimble.
I'm John Stang. I will be playing the Lord Admiral, Earl of Arundel, Crosby, and Murderer Number 1.
Hey, everybody. My name is Annette Mooney. I'll be playing Surrey, Fleming, and LaPoule.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. While our cast assembles themselves, I will give a brief dramaturgical introduction to our play. Thomas of Woodstock, the play we call Thomas of Woodstock. It exists in a single copy, a manuscript that was part of a collection of 15 manuscript copies of different plays compiled, we think, by an actor named William Cartwright during the English Civil War. Given that we have very few play manuscripts surviving from this period and no complete Shakespeare ones, the existence of this play as a manuscript makes it an exciting document for theater history. It appears to be marked by different hands, and it shows signs of extensive use, as well as marks of censorship, such that suggests it was used in the playhouse for performance, not just for reading. What this manuscript might tell us about playhouse practices, however, is overshadowed by how much it doesn't tell us. We don't know who wrote it, when they wrote it, when it was performed, where it was performed, or who performed it. We don't know how it ends. We don't even know what the title is. So here's what we do know, or rather, what we can guess. We can guess that it might have been called Richard II, given the propensity for plays with monarchs to bear the king's name as their title. But to differentiate it from Shakespeare's more famous play, and to highlight the importance of another central character, critics have christened it more often Thomas of Woodstock. The character of Thomas, the uncle of Richard, whose death fuels part of the contention at the beginning of Shakespeare's play, Richard II, is central here as a symbol of moral authority. He is loved by the commons and by his brothers, but his optimism about Richard's potential as a king is soon proven to be foolish, and he is forced to submit to the wills of the king's powerful favorites. In many ways, he is the hero of this tragedy. He falls from his high status of Lord Protector to a grim fate in a dark prison. As the Duke of Gloucester, Thomas also has much in common with Humphrey, Duke of Gloucester, in the play we call Henry VI, Part 2. Both were the uncle and Lord Protector to a young king who, when he reaches the age to govern for himself, is manipulated by corrupt courtiers into ousting his uncle from the court, which leads to his murder. While this play tonight does share many characters with Shakespeare's Richard II, a fact that I've highlighted by asking the Brave Spirits cast to reprise their roles, dramaturgically, it has a lot more in common with the earlier written Henry VI plays. Some critics argue that Shakespeare was inspired by Woodstock in his composition of Richard II, especially in the designation of Richard as landlord of England, a phrase used multiple times in Woodstock and echoed by John of Gaunt in Richard II. This particular theme does not show up in any other surviving sources like Holinshed's Chronicles. Some also posit that the references to Gloucester's death at the beginning of Richard II are somewhat opaque because Shakespeare might not have wanted to repeat material that audiences would have already been familiar with from this play. Well, that had never stopped Shakespeare from copying other playwrights before, as we observed in King John last week. The idea that audiences would have seen this play as a kind of prequel or prologue to the action in Shakespeare's play has led some modern directors to incorporate material from Woodstock into their productions of Richard. Unfortunately, we can't know for sure what the relationship between this play and Shakespeare's really is. Because the end of the Woodstock manuscript is missing, we don't know what exactly happens at the end of this play, which is another temptation for modern theater makers to fill in the end of Richard's story with Shakespeare's play about him and his own tragic demise. Thomas of Woodstock has much in common with the other plays in this reading series, which you can still view on our YouTube channel. We follow the trend set by Edward II, showing an irresponsible ruler whose flaws threaten England's safety because of his closeness with his favorites. But unlike other plays in this festival, like King John or Edward III, the conflict in Woodstock is not with an enemy nation like France, but within itself, and largely a conflict within the royal family. We also hear several reports of the commons revolting in response to Richard's taxation. He uses blank charters, which essentially extorted money from the commons under the threat of imprisonment and death to fund the nobles' new fashions and extravagant feasts. The commoners had to sign these charters without knowing how much money they would be commanded to give, essentially signing a blank check to the monarchy. This money was then used to feed the greed and corruption rampant at the court. In terms of historical accuracy, this playwright meshes together events of the late 1380s and the late 1390s. The influence of Bagot, Bushy, and Green, the caterpillars of the Commonwealth, who historically rose to power after Woodstock's death, are here made prominent to be in conflict with the Duke himself. Their defeat at the battle is based on the earlier demise of other favorites of Richard's, like Robert de Vere. Compressing these conflicts into one tight structure shows a strong sense of dramatic composition and makes the action of the play, despite its historical inaccuracy, compelling and relatively easy to follow. The conflict between the older, wiser uncles and the young upstarts of Richard's court puts age and experience up against flashy, get-rich-quick schemes. It is as much a family drama as a political one, where the female characters endeavor in vain to help their husbands from making terrible decisions. No matter what your knowledge of other Elizabethan history plays, however, I hope that you will enjoy this performance of Thomas of Woodstock and stick around for a few minutes after of a Q&A, as well as a brief excerpt from the Brave Spirits production of Richard II. So without further ado, let's begin. Enter hastily at several doors, Duke of Lancaster, Duke of York, the Earls of Arundel and Surrey, with napkins on their arms and knives in their hands, along with Sir Thomas Cheney.
Shut to the gates. Let no man out of the house until it be searched.
Call for our coaches. Let's away, good brother. Now by the blessed saints, I fear we're poisoned all.
Poisoned, my lord.
Aye, good Arundel. It is high time begone. Oh, may God heaven be blessed for this prevention.
God, for thy mercy, would our cousin king so cousin us to poison us in our meat?
What thinkst thou, Cheney? Thou first broughtst the tidings.
Fear not, my lords, that mischievous potion that as yet unserved was a liquid bane dissolved in wine, which after supper should have been caroused to young King Richard's health.
Oh, good in faith, are his uncle's deaths become health to King Richard? How came it out? Sir Thomas Cheney, pray resolve us of this doubt.
The Carmelite friar, my lord, revealed the plot and should have acted it, but touched in conscience, he came to your good brother, the Lord Protector, and so disclosed it, who straight sent me to you.
The Lord protect him for it.
Oh, a heavy charge, good Woodstock, hast thou had to be protector of so wild a prince, so far degenerate from his noble father, whom the trembling French the Black Prince called.
Forbear, good John of Gaunt. Believe me, brother, we may do wrong unto our cousin king. I fear his flattering minions more than him.
Tis certainly made known, my reverend lords, to your loved brother and the good protector, that not King Richard, but his flatterer, Sir Henry Green, joined with Sir Edward Bagot and that sly, mischievous Tressilian, whom now the king elects for Lord Chief Justice, had all great hands in this conspiracy.
By blessed Mary, I will confound them all.
Your spleen confounds yourself.
High Edmund, canst thou give a reason yet, though we so near in blood, his hapless uncles, his grandsire, Edward's sons, his father's brothers, should thus be made away? Why might it be that Arundel and Surrey here should die?
Some friend of theirs wanted my earldom sore.
Perhaps my office of the Admiralty. If a better and more fortunate hand could govern it, I would 'twere not of mine.
Oh, warlike Arundel, cousin of Surrey, princely Edmund York, let us think on some revenge. If we must die, 10,000 souls shall keep us company.
Patience, good Lancaster. Tell me, kind Cheney, how does thy master, our good brother Woodstock, plain Thomas, for by the rood so all men call him, for his plain dealing and his simple clothing, how thinks his unsophisticated plainness of these bitter compounds? Fears he no drug put in his broth? Shall his health be secure?
Faith, my lord, his mind suits with his habit, homely and plain, both free from pride and envy, and therein will admit distrust to none. And see, the Grace himself has come to meet you.
Health to your
Grace.
Why, how now, brothers? How fares good John of Gaunt? Thou art vexed, I know. Thou grievest, kind Edmund York. Arundel and Surrey, noble kinsmen, I know ye all are discontented much. But be not so, afore my God I swear. King Richard loves you all, and credit me, the princely gentleman is innocent of this black deed and base conspiracy. Speak, how is it with princely Lancaster?
Sick, Gloucester, sick. We all are weary, and fain we would lie down to rest ourselves, but that so many serpents lurk in the grass, we dare not sleep.
Enough. Good brother, I have found out the disease. King Richard's wounded with a wanton humor, lulled and secured by flattering sycophants. But 'tis not deadly yet, it may be cured. Some vein let blood where the corruption lies, and all shall heal again.
Then lose no time, lest it grow ulcerous. The false Tressilian, Green, and Bagot run naught but poison, brother. Spill them all.
They guide the nonage king, 'tis they protect him. Oh, faith, you're too plain.
In my apparel, you'll say.
Oh, good faith, in all. The commons murmur against the dissolute king. Treason is whispered at each common table.
You all are princes of the royal blood, yet like great oaks, you let the ivy grow to eat your hearts out with his false embraces. You understand, my lord?
Aye, good cuz, as if ye plainly said, destroy those flatterers, and tell King Richard he does abase himself to countenance them. Pray, be smooth a while. Tomorrow is the solemn nuptial day betwixt the king and virtuous Anne of Bean, the emperor's daughter, a right gracious lady that's come to England for Richard's love. Then as you love his grace and hate his flatterers, discountenance not the day with the least frown. Be ignorant of what you know. Afore my God, I have good hope this happy marriage, brothers, will mildly calm his headstrong to see and shun those stains that blurs his majesty. If not, by good King Edward's bones, our royal father, I will remove those hinderers of his health, though it cost my head.
On these conditions, brother, we agree.
And I.
And I.
Well, to hide our hate is soundest policy.
And brother Gloucester, since it is your pleasure to have us smooth our sullen brows with smiles, we'd have you suit your outside to your heart, and like a courtier cast this country habit. Tomorrow we shall have good hope to see your high protectorship in bravery.
No, no, good York, this is as fair a sight. My heart in this plain frieze sits true and right. In this I will serve my king as true and bold, and if my outside were all trapped in gold.
By Mary, but you shall not, brother Woodstock. We'll have you brave in faith.
Well, well. For your sakes, brothers, and this solemn day, for once I'll sumpter a gaudy wardrobe. Before my God, the king could not have entreated me to leave this habit, but your wills be done. Let's hie to court. You all your wishes have. One weary day, plain Thomas will be brave.
Enter Green in rage, Bagot and Tressilian following.
Nay, good Sir Henry, King Richard calls for you.
Prithee, sweet Green, visit his highness and forsake these passions.
I am vexed, Tressilian. Mad me not. Thyself and I and all are now undone. The lords at London are secured from harm. The plot's revealed. Black curses seize the traitor.
Eternal torments whip that Carmelite.
A fainting villain, confusion crush his soul.
Mischief devour him. Had it but ta'en effect on Lancaster and Edmund, Duke of York, those headstrong uncles to the gentle king, the third brother, plain Thomas, the protector, had quickly been removed. But since 'tis thus, our safeties must be cared for, and 'tis best to keep us near the person of the king. Had they been dead, we'd ruled the realm and him.
So shall we still, so long as Richard lives. I know he cannot brook his stubborn uncles. Come, think not on't. Cheer thee, Tressilian. Here's better news for thee. You shortly are to underprop the name, mark me, Tressilian, of Lord Chief Justice of England.
Methinks already I sit upon the bench with dreadful frowns, frighting the lousy rascals. Chief Justice, my lords. I will wear the office in his true ornament.
But, good your honor, as 'twill shortly be, you must observe and fashion to the time the habit of your laws. The king is young, aye, and a little wanton. So perhaps are we. Your laws must not be beetles then, Tressilian, to punish your benefactors. Look to that.
How, sir, to punish you, the minions to the king, the jewels of his heart, his dearest loves? Zoons, I will screw and wind the stubborn law to any fashion that shall like you best.
Thanks to your lordship, which is yet to come.
Farewell, Tressilian. Still be near the court. Anon King Richard shall confirm thy state. We must attend his grace to Westminster, to the high nuptials of fair Anna Beam, that must now be his wife and England's queen.
So let them pass, Tressilian. Now bethink thee, Lord Chief Justice. Yet best be wise. No state secure without some enemies. The dukes will frown. Why, I can look as grim as John of Gaunt, and all that frown with him. My man there, ho, where's Nimble?
As nimble as an eel, sir. Did you call, sir?
Sir, look out some better phrase. Salute again.
I know no other, sir, unless you will be Frenchified and let me lay the Monsieur to your charge, or sweet Signor?
Neither, 'tis higher yet. Nimble, thou buckram scribe, think once again.
Neither sir, nor monsieur, nor senior. What should I call him, trow? At first when we were schoolfellows, then I called him Sirrah. But since he became my master, I pared away the and served him with the sir. What title he has got now, I know not, but I'll try further. Has your worship any employment for me?
Thou gross uncapit, thou speakest not yet.
My mouth was open, I'm sure. If your honor would please to hear me.
Honor, say'st thou? Aye, now thou hittest it, Nimble. The Lord Chief Justice of England speaks to thee.
The Lord be praised. We shall have a flourishing commonwealth, sir.
Canst thou remember, Nimble, how by degrees I rose since first thou knewst me? I knew I was first a schoolboy.
Saving your honor's speech, you were ever so crafty in your childhood that I knew your worship would prove a good lawyer.
Interrupt me not. Those days thou knewst, I say, from whence I did become a plodding clerk, from which I bounced as thou dost now in buckram to be a pleading lawyer, and there I stayed, till by the king I was chief justice made. Go to thy mistress, lady, you must now call her. Bid her remove her household up to London. Tell her our fortunes and with how much peril we have attained this place of eminence. Go and remove her.
And so I leave your lordship, always hoping of your wonted favor, that when I have passed the London Bridge of Affliction, I may arrive with you at the Westminster Hall of Promotion, and then I care not.
Thou shalt. Thou hast an executing look, and I will put the axe into thy hand. I rule the law. Thou by the law shalt stand.
Enter in great state King Richard and Queen Anne crowned. Lancaster, York, Arundel, Green, Bagot, and Woodstock very brave in fine array, with the Duchess of Gloucester.
Bagot and Green, next to the fair Queen Anne, take your high places by King Richard's side, and give fair welcome to our queen and bride. Uncles of Woodstock, York, and Lancaster, make full our wishes and salute our queen.
Oh.
Give all your welcomes to fair Anne Beam.
Sweet queen and cousin, now I'll call you so. In plain and honest phrase, welcome to England. Sweet queen, you found a young and wanton choice, a youth unsettled, yet he's princely bred, descended from the royalest bloods in Europe. Yet he's a harebrain, a very wag, if faith. But his maturity, I hope you'll find. True English bred, a king, loving and kind.
I thank ye for your double praise, good uncle.
Aye, good coz, I'm plain Thomas by the rood. I'll speak the truth.
My sovereign lord, and you true English peers, my native country I no more remember, but as a tale told in my infancy, the greatest part forgot. And having left the earth where I was bred and English made, let me be Englished. They best shall please me, shall me English call. My heart, great king, to you, my love to all.
Gramercy, Nan, thou highly honorest me.
For my God, sweet queen, our English ladies and all the women that this isle contains shall sing in praise of this your memory, and keep records of virtuous Anne Beam, whose discipline hath taught them womanhood. Yet by your leave, young practice often reels. I have seen some of your scholars kick up both their heels.
What have you seen, my lord?
Nay, nothing, wife. I see little without spectacles, thou knowest.
Trust him not, aunt, for now he's grown so brave he will be courting. Aye, and kissing too. Nay, uncle. Now I'll do as much for you and lay your faults all open to the world.
Aye, do.
I am glad you are grown so careless. Now by my crown I swear, good uncles York and Lancaster, when you this morning came to visit me, I did not know him in this strange attire. As we today rode on to Westminster, methought your horse trod as slow and melancholy as if his legs had failed to bear his load.
And can you blame the beast? Afore my God, he was not wont to bear such loads. Indeed, 100 oaks upon these shoulders hang to make me brave upon your wedding day. You know, good coz, this was not wont to be.
In your t'other hose, uncle?
No, nor his frieze coat neither.
Aye, mock on. My t'other hose, say ye. There's honest plain dealing in my t'other hose.
The king but jests, my lord, and you grow angry.
Did some here wear that fashion, they would not tax and pill the commons so.
His foot he forewarned us and will break out himself.
No matter. We'll back him, though it grows to blows.
Scoff ye my plainness. I will talk no riddles. Plain Thomas will speak plainly. There's Bagot there and Green.
And what of them, my lord?
Upstarts, come down. You have no places there. Here is better men to grace King Richard's chair. If it pleased him, grace them so.
Uncle, forbear.
These cut the columns that should prop up thy house. They tax the poor, and I am scandaled for it, that by my fault those late oppressions rise to set the commons in a mutiny, that London in itself was sacked by them. And who did all these rank commotions point at? E'en at these two, Bagot here and Green.
Why is our Lord Protector so outrageous?
Because thy subjects have such outrage shown them by these flatterers. Here's Arundel, thy ocean's admiral, hath brought thee home a rich and wealthy prize, taken 80 sail of ships, and 6 great carracks, all richly laden. Let those goods be sold to satisfy those borrowed sums of coin their pride hath forced from the needy commons.
Our word, good uncle, is already passed. Those wealthy prizes already are bestowed on these, our friends.
On them, my lord?
Yes. Who storms at it?
Shall cankers eat the fruit that planting and good husbandry hath nourished?
Cankers.
Aye.
Cankers?
Cankers, caterpillars.
Worse than consuming fires that eat up all their furies fall upon.
Once more, be still. Who is't that dares encounter with our will? We did bestow them. Hear me, kind uncles. We shall ere long be past protectorship. Then will we rule ourself, and even till then, thus more we add. Young Henry Green shall be Lord Chancellor, Bagot, Lord Keeper of our Privy Seal, Tressilian, learned in our kingdom's laws, shall be Chief Justice. By them and their directions King Richard will uphold his government. Come fair, Queen Annabeam. Bagot and Green, keep by King Richard's side. But as for you, we'll shortly make your stiff obedience bow.
Remember this, my lords. We keep the seal. Our strength you all shall know.
And we are Chancellor. We love you well. Think so.
God for his mercy! Shall we brook these braves, disgraced and threatened thus by fawning knaves?
Shall we, that were great Edward's princely sons, be thus outbraved by flattering sycophants?
O my God and holy saints, I swear, but that my tongue had liberty to show the inly passions boiling in my breast, I think my overburdened heart would break. Speak, speak, what tidings, Cheney?
Of war, my lord, and civil dissension. The men of Kent and Essex do rebel.
I thought no less, and always feared as much.
The Shreves and posts have sent unto your grace that order be ta'en to stay the commons for fear rebellion rise in open arms.
Now, headstrong Richard, shalt thou reap the fruit thy lewd licentious willfulness hath sown. I know not which way to bestow myself.
Take open arms. Join with the vexed commons and hail his minions from his wanton side. Their heads cut off, the people satisfied.
Not so, not so. Alack the day, good brother. We may not so affright the tender prince. You, brother Gaunt, and noble Arundel, shall undertake by threats or fair entreaty to pacify the murmuring commons' rage. And whilst you there employ your service hours, we presently will call a parliament and have their deeds thoroughly examined, where if by fair means we can win no favor, we'll thus resolve for our dear country's good to right her wrongs or for it spend our bloods.
About it then. We for the commons, you for the court.
Aye, aye, good Lancaster, I pray be careful. Come, brother York, we soon shall right all wrong, and send some headless from the court ere long.
Enter King Richard, Green, Bagot, Bushy, Scroop, and Tressilian.
Thus shall King Richard suit his princely train, despite his uncle's pride. Embrace us, gentlemen, Sir Edward Bagot, Bushy, Green, and Scroop. Your youths are fitting to our tender years, and such shall beautify our princely throne. Fear not, my uncles, nor their proudest strength, for I will buckler ye against them all.
Thanks, dearest lord. Let me have Richard's love, and like a rock, unmoved, my state shall stand, scorning the proudest peer that rules the land.
Your uncles seek to overturn your state, to awe ye like a child, that they alone may at their pleasures thrust you from the throne.
As if the sun were forced to decline before his dated time of darkness comes.
Sweet king, set courage to authority and let them know the power of majesty.
May not the lion roar because he's young?
Law must extend unto severity when subjects dare to brave their sovereign.
Tressilian, Thou art Lord Chief Justice now. Resolve us therefore what thou thinkst of them that under title of protectorship seek to subvert their king and sovereign.
As of the king's rebellious enemies, as underminers of his sacred state, which in the greatest prince or mightiest peer that is a subject to your majesty is nothing less than treason capital, and he is a traitor that endeavors it.
Attaint them then, arrest them, and condemn them.
Hail them to the block, and cut off all their heads, and then, King Richard, claim the government.
See it be done, Tressilian, speedily.
That course is all too rash, my gracious lord.
Too rash for what?
It must be done with greater policy, for fear the people rise in mutiny.
Aye, there is the fear. The commons love them well. How now? What readst thou, Bushy?
The monument of English chronicles, my lord, containing acts and memorable deeds of all your famous predecessor kings.
Ah, what findst thou of them?
Examples strange and wonderful, my lord. The end of treason even in mighty persons. For here 'tis said your royal grandfather, although but young and under government, took the protector then, proud Mortimer, and on a gallows 50 foot in height he hung him for his pride and treachery.
Why should our proud protector then presume, and we not punish him, whose treason's viler far than ever was rebellious Mortimer? Prithee, read on. What's next?
The battle full of dread and doubtful fear was fought betwixt your father and the French.
Oh, princely Edward! Had thy son such hap, such fortune and success to follow him, his daring uncles and rebellious peers durst not control and govern as they do. And what next ensues, good Bushy? Read the rest.
Here is set down, my princely sovereign, the certain time and day when you were born.
Our birthday, sayst thou? Is that noted there?
It is, my lord.
Prithee, let me hear it, for thereby hangs a secret mystery which yet our uncle strangely keeps from us. On, Bushy.
Upon the 3rd of April, 1365, was Lord Richard, son to the Black Prince, born at Bordeaux.
1365. What year is this?
It is now, my lord, 1387.
Well, by that account, the 3rd of April next, our age is numbered 2 and 20 years. Oh, treacherous men that have deluded us! We might have claimed our right a 12 months since. Oh, shut up thy book, good Bushy. Bagot, Green, King Richard in his throne will now be seen. This day I'll claim my right, my kingdom's due. Our uncles well shall know they but intrude, for which we will smite their base ingratitude.
Edmund of Langley, Duke of York, my lord, sent from the Lord Protector and the peers, doth crave admittance to your royal presence.
Our uncle Edmund? Go admit him. Woodstock and Gaunt are stern and troublesome, but York is gentle, mild, and generous.
He comes, my lord.
Methinks 'tis strange, my good and reverend uncle, you and the rest should thus malign against us, and every hour with rude and bitter taunts abuse King Richard and his harmless friends.
My royal lord, e'en by my birth I swear, your uncle's thoughts are all most honorable, and to that end the good protector sends me to certify your sacred majesty. The peers of England now are all assembled to hold a parliament at Westminster, and humbly crave your highness would be there to sit in council touching such affairs as shall concern your country's government.
Have they so soon procured a parliament? Without our knowledge, too? 'Tis somewhat strange. Yet, say, good uncle, we will meet them straight.
The news to all will be most wished and welcome. I take my leave, and to your grace I swear, as I am subject loyal, just, and true, will nothing do to hurt the realm nor you.
We shall believe you, uncle. Go, attend him. Yes, we will meet them, but with such intent as shall dismiss their sudden parliament. Come, sirs, to Westminster, attend our state. This day shall make you ever fortunate. The 3rd of April. Bushy, note the time. Our age accomplished. Crown and kingdoms, mine.
Entered Lancaster, Arundel, Surrey, Queen Anne, Woodstock with petitions, and York meeting them in haste.
Now, Brother York, what says King Richard, huh?
His Highness will be here immediately.
Go, Cousin Surrey, greet the Parliament, tell them the King is coming.
I will, my lord.
Pity King Richard's youth, most reverend uncles, and in your high proceedings gently use him.
Alack, sweet queen, you and our lord the king have little cause to fear our just proceedings. We'll fall beneath his feet and bend our knees, so he cast off those hateful flatterers that daily ruinate his state and kingdom.
This happy Parliament shall make all e'en, and plant sure peace betwixt the king and realm.
Believe no less, sweet queen.
The king is come, my lords.
Why, how now, uncle? What, disrobed again of all your gold and rich habiliments?
Aye, good coz, I'm now in my t'other hose. I'm now myself plain Thomas, and by the rood, in these plain hose I'll do the realm more good than those that pill the poor to jet in gold.
Nay, be not angry, uncle.
Be you then pleased, good coz, to hear me speak and view thy subjects' sad petitions.
Please you ascend your throne, we'll call them in.
We'll ask a question first, and then we'll see them. Reach me that paper, Bushy. Hear me, princes. We had strange petition here delivered us. A poor man's son, his father being deceased, gave him in charge unto a rich man's hands to keep him and the little land he had till he attained to 21 years. The poor revenue amounts but to 3 crowns, and yet the insatiate churl denies his right and bars him of his fair inheritance. Tell me, I pray, will not our English laws enforce this rich man to resign his due?
There is no let to bar it, gracious sovereign. Oh my God, sweet prince, it joys my soul to see your grace in person thus to judge his cause.
The poor man then had wrong, you all confess.
And shall have right, my liege, to quit his wrong.
Then Woodstock, give us right, for we are wronged. Thou art the rich, and we the poor man's son. The realms of England, France, and Ireland are those 3 crowns thou yearly keep from us. It's not a wrong when every meanman's son may take his birthright at the time expired, and we, the principal, being now attained almost to 22 years of age, cannot be suffered to enjoy our own, nor peaceably possess our father's right?
This is the trick, sweet prince. Alack the day. You need not thus have doubled with your friends. The right I hold, even with my heart, I render, and wish your grace had claimed it long ago. Thou'dst rid mine age of mickle care and woe. Lo, here, King Richard, I thus yield up my sad protectorship. A heavy burden hast thou ta'en from me. Long mayst thou live in peace and keep thine own, that truth and justice may attend thy throne.
We thank ye all. So now we feel ourself. Our body could not fill this chair till now. 'Twas skented to us by protectorship. But now we let ye know King Richard rules and will elect and choose, place and displace such officers as we ourself shall like of. We here dismiss ye from the council table, and will that ye remain not in our court. Deliver up your staves, and hear ye, Arundel, we do discharge ye of the admiralty. Scroop, take his office and his place in council.
I thank your highness.
Here, take my staff, good cousin. York thus leaves thee. Thou lean'st on staves that will at length deceive thee.
There. There lie the burden of old Lancaster, and may he perish that succeeds in my place.
Sir Henry Green, succeed our Uncle York, and Bushy, take the staff of Lancaster.
I thank your grace. His curse frights not me. I'll keep it to defend your majesty.
What transformations do mine eyes behold, as if the world were topsy-turvy turned. Hear me, King Richard.
Plain Thomas, I'll not hear ye.
You do not well to move his majesty.
Hence, flatterer, or by my soul I'll kill thee. Shall England, that so long was governed by grave experience of white-headed age, be subject now to rash, unskillful boys?
Give up your council staff. We'll hear no more.
My staff, King Richard? See, coz, here it is. Full 10 years' space within a prince's hand, this staff hath always been discreetly kept. nor shall the world report an upstart groom did glory in the honors Woodstock lost, and therefore, King Richard, thus I sever it. There, let him take it, shivered, cracked, and broke, as will the state of England be ere long, by this rejecting true nobility. Farewell, King Richard. I'll to Pleshy, brothers. If you ride through Essex, call and see me. If once the pillars and supporters quail, how can the strongest castle choose but fail?
Old doting graybeard. For God, my lord, had they not been your uncles, I'd broke my council staff about their heads.
We'll have an act for this. It shall be henceforth counted high treason for any fellow with a gray beard to come within 40 foot of the court gates.
Now do what ye will shield and buckler ye. Send proclamation straight in Richard's name to abridge the laws our late protector made.
What cheer shall we have to dinner, King Richard?
No matter what today, we'll mend it shortly. The hall at Westminster shall be enlarged and only serve us for a dining room, wherein I'll daily feast 10,000 men.
An excellent device. The commons have murmured against us a great while, and there's no such means as meat to stop their mouths.
Good, let's first fetch their money and bid them to dinner afterward. We must have money to buy new suits, my lord. The fashions that we wear are gross and stale. We'll go sit in council to devise some new.
A special purpose to be thought on. It shall be the first thing we do.
Come, wantons, come. If Gloucester hear of this, he'll say our counsel guides us much amiss. Dismiss the parliament our uncles called. When we are pleased, they shall have summons sent, and with King Richard hold a parliament. Set forward.
You of the council march before the king. I will support his arm.
Gramercy Green.
Enter Queen Anne and the Duchess of Gloucester with shirts, bands, and other lining.
Tell me, dear aunt, has Richard so forgot the types of honor and nobility so to disgrace his good and reverend uncles?
Madam, 'tis true. No sooner had he claimed the full possession of his government, but my dear husband and his noble brethren were all dismissed from the council table, banished the court, and even before their faces, their offices bestowed on several grooms.
No more, good cousin. Could I work the means, he should not so disgrace his dearest friends. Alack the day. Though I am England's queen, I meet sad hours and wake when others sleep. He meets content, but care with me must keep. Distressed poverty o'erspreads the kingdom. In Essex, Surrey, Kent, and Middlesex are 17,000 poor and indigent, which I have numbered, and to help their wants, my jewels and my plate are turned to coin and shared amongst them. Oh, riotous Richard, a heavy blame is thine for this distress, that dost allow thy pooling flatterers to gild themselves with others' miseries.
Wrong not yourself with sorrow, gentle queen, unless that sorrow were a helping means to cure the malady you sorrow for.
The sighs I vent are not my own, dear aunt. I do not sorrow in mine own behalf. 'Tis England's subject sorrow I sustain. I fear they grudge against their sovereign.
Fear not that, madam. England's not mutinous. 'Tis peopled all with subjects, not with outlaws. Though Richard, much misled by flatterers, neglects and throws his scepter carelessly, yet none dares rob him of his kingly rule. Besides, your virtuous charity, fair queen, so graciously hath won the commons' love as only you have power to stay their rigor.
The wealth I shall have shall be the poor's revenue, as sure as 'twere confirmed by parliament. The coin I have, I send them. Would 'twere more. Go, let those trunks be filled. With those labors I relieve the poor. Let them be carefully distributed.
What, is the court removing? Whither goes that trunk?
It is the queen's charity, sir, of needful clothing to be distributed amongst the poor.
Why, there's one blessing yet, that England hath a virtuous queen, although a wanton king. But to my message, madam, my lord the duke entreats your grace prepare with him to horse. He will this night ride home to Pleshy House.
Madam, you hear I'm sent for.
Will you leave me then? Oh, woe is me, I am now crowned a queen of misery. Saw'st thou King Richard, Cheney? Prithee tell me what rebels keep his flattering minions.
They sit in council to devise strange fashions and suit themselves in wild and antic habits, such as this kingdom never yet beheld. Tressilian with King Richard likewise sits, devising taxes and strange ships for money, to build again the hall at Westminster to feast and revel in.
Oh, certain ruin of this famous kingdom. Fond Richard, thou build'st a hall to feast in, and starvest thy wretched subjects to erect it.
I'll take my leave, fair queen. But credit me, ere many days again I'll visit you.
Blessed heaven conduct ye hence. Queen Anne alone for Richard's follies still must sigh and groan.
Enter King Richard, Bagot, Bushy, Green, and Scroop, very richly attired in new fashions, Tressilian with blank charters, whispering with the king.
Come, my Tressilian, thus like an emperor shall King Richard reign, and you so many kings attendant on him. Thou toldst me, kind Tressilian, thou'dst devise blank charters to fill up our treasury. Let's know the means. We may applaud thy wit.
See here, my lord, here's no fraud, no clause, no deceit in the writing.
Why, there's nothing writ.
There's the trick on it. These blank charters shall be forthwith sent to every shreve through all the shires of England, with charge to call before them presently all landed men, freeholders, farmers, graziers, or any else that have ability. Then, in your highness' name, they shall be charged to set their names and forthwith seal these blanks. That done, these shall return to court again, but cartloads of money soon shall follow them.
Excellent, Tressilian.
Noble Lord Chief Justice.
Where should his grace get such a counselor?
By your leave there. Give way to the queen.
Now, Anna Beam, how cheers my dearest queen? Shalt work no more, sweet Nan, now Richard's king. We'll have no more protecting uncles, trust me. Prithee, look smooth and bid these nobles welcome.
But would your grace consider with advice what you have done unto your reverend uncles? They are your noble kinsmen.
Madam, what's done was with advice enough. The king is now at years and hath shook off the servile yoke of mean protectorship.
Fair Anna Beam, you shall along with us. At Westminster you shalt see my sumptuous hall, my royal tables richly furnished, where every day I feast 10,000 men.
Oh, but my lord, 'twill tire your revenues to keep this festival a year together.
As many days as I writ England's king, we will maintain that bounteous festival. Tressilian, look to your blank charters speedily. Send them abroad with trusty officers. And Bagot, see a messenger be sent to call our uncle Woodstock home to the court. Not that we love his meddling company, but that the raged commons loves his plainness, and should grow mutinous about these blanks, we'll have him near us. Come, Anne, to our great hall, where Richard keeps his gorgeous festival.
Within here, ho!
Your lordship's pleasure.
What, are those blanks dispatched?
They're all trussed up in several packets, my lord.
Where's Nimble? Where's that varlet?
As nimble as a Morris dancer, now my bells are on.
Go spread those several blanks throughout the kingdom. Besides, I'd have you use yourselves so cunningly to mark who grudges or but speaks amiss of good King Richard, myself, or any of his new counselors. Attach them all for privy whisperers and send them up. I have a trick in law shall make King Richard seize into his hands the forfeiture of all their goods and lands. Nimble, take thou these blanks. Crosby and Fleming, pray be diligent.
We shall, my lord.
Be bold and swift in execution.
Goodbye, my lord. We will domineer over the vulgar like so many St. Georges over the poor dragons. Come, sirs, we are like to have a flourishing commonwealth.
Enter Woodstock, Lancaster, and York.
Come, my good brothers, here at Pleshy House, I'll bid you welcome with as true a heart as Richard with a false and mind corrupt, disgraced our names and thrust us from his court.
He daily feasts, they say, 10,000 men.
How will these expenses be maintained?
Oh, they say there are strange tricks come forth to fetch in money. What they are, I know not.
You've heard of the fantastic suits they wear. Never was English king so habited.
We could allow his clothing, Brother Woodstock, but we have 4 kings more are equaled with him. There's Bagot, Bushy, Wanton Green, and Scrope in slate and fashion without difference.
Indeed, they're more than kings, for they rule him.
Come, our breaths reverberate the wind, so we may talk, but thus will Richard do.
Now, Cheney, what drives thee so fast?
I am still the pursuivant of unhappy news. Here's blank charters, my lord, I pray behold them, sent from King Richard and his counselors.
That makes me blank at the very sight of them.
Commissions are come down to every shreve to force the richest subjects of the lands to set their hands and forthwith seal these blanks, and then the bond must afterwards be paid. That shall confirm a due debt to the king, as much or little as they please to point it.
Oh, strange, unheard of, vile taxation.
Like charters, call ye them.
How do the people entertain these blanks?
With much dislike, yet some for fear have signed them. Others there be refuse and murmur strangely.
For my God, I cannot blame them for it. O vulture England, wilt thou eat thine own? Can they be rebels called that now turn head?
What shall we do to seek for remedy?
Let each man hie him to his several home before the people rise in mutiny, and in the mildest part of lenity seek to restrain them from rebellion.
Yes, your counsel's well. Let's haste away. The time is sick. We must not use delay.
Let's still confer by letters.
Content. So friends may parley even in banishment. Farewell, good brothers. Cheney, conduct them. Adieu, good York and Gaunt. Farewell forever. I have a sad presage come suddenly that I shall never see these brothers more. Of Edward III's 7 sons, we 3 are left to see our father's kingdom ruinate. How now, what news?
There's a horseman at the gate, my lord. He comes from the king, he says, to see your grace.
To see me, sirs, I'll prithee bid him enter. Cry ye mercy, have you a message to me?
His Majesty most affectionately entreats your grace's presence at the court.
Is that your message, sir? I must refuse it then. My English plainness will not suit that place. The court's too fine for me. My service here will stand in better stead to quench the fire those blanks have made. I dare not come, and so excuse me, sir. I am plain Thomas still.
The marketplace at Dunstable. Enter Master Ignorance, the Bailey of Dunstable, Crosby, Fleming, and Nimble with the blank charters.
Dispatch, good Master Bailey. The markets are almost done, you see. 'Tis rumored that the blanks are come and the rich chuffs begin to flock out of the town already. I charge you, in the king's name, be ready to assist us.
Nay, look ye, sir, I know my place and calling. My name is Ignorance, and I am Bailey of Dunstable. I will assist ye, for here be rich horsens in the town, I can tell ye, that will give ye the slip, and you look not to it.
We therefore presently will divide ourselves. You 2 shall stay here while we, Master Ignorance, walk through the town, noting the carriage of the people. They say there are strange songs and libels cast about the marketplace against my Lord Tressilian and the rest of the king's young counselors. If such there be, we'll have some aid and attach them speedily.
Come, fellow Fleming, and Nimble, look to the whisperers, I charge you.
Come, Master Bailey, you and I will here shadow ourselves and write down their speech.
Oh, here comes some already. All rich chubs by the mass. I know them all, sir.
Terry, good neighbors, is there a bear broke loose of the town that ye make such haste from the market?
Neighbor, I might tell you in secret, here's a dangerous world towards. Here's my other neighbor, the butcher that dwells at Hockley, has heard his landlord tell strange tidings. We shall be hoisted and we tarry here, I can tell you.
They begin to murmur. I'll put them all down for whisperers. Master Bailey, what's he that talks so?
His name is Cowtail, a rich grazier.
Sirrah, what said your landlord neighbor?
Marry, he said that King Richard's new counselors God amend them, had crept into honester men's places than themselves were, and that the king's uncles and the old lords were all banished the court. And he said flatly, we should never have a merry world as long as it was so.
Butcher, you and your landlord will be both hanged for it.
And then he said that there's one Tressilian, a lawyer that has crept in amongst them, and is now a lord forsooth, and he has sent down into every country of England a sort of black chapters.
Black chapters?
Come, they're blank charters, neighbors. I heard of them before, and therefore I made such haste away. They're sent down to the high shreve with special charge that every man that is of any credit or worship in the country must set their hands and seal to them.
Come, neighbors, let's be gone.
Not too fast, sirs! I charge you in the king's name to stand!
Saint Benedice, what must we do now, trow?
I charge you in his highness' name presently to set your hands and seals to these blank charters.
Jesu, rescue my soul, I'm departed.
Here, you bacon-fed pudding eaters, are you afraid of a sheepskin?
And can it be any harm, think ye, to set your hands to nothing? These blank charters are but little pieces of parchment. Let's set our marks to them and be rid of a knave's company.
As good as first as last. We can be but undone.
Aye, and our own hands undo us. That's the worst on't.
We must all venture, neighbors, there's no remedy.
They grumble as they do it. I must put them down for whisperers and grumblers. Come, have you done yet?
Aye, sir.
I hope ye have done with us now, sir.
Oh, ye caterpillars, we have worse matters against ye yet. Master Bailey, let some of your billmen away with them to the high shreves presently, either to be put in bail or to be sent up to the court for privy whisperers.
Their offenses are most pestiferous. Away with them!
Now out, alas, we'll all be to hanging sure.
Hanging, nay, that's the least of it.
Now, Master Bailey, are your blanks sealed yet?
They are, sir, and we have done this day most strange and pestiferous service, I assure ye, sir.
Your care shall be rewarded. Come, fellow Nimble, we must accord about other employments. There are already 13,000 blanks signed and returned to the shreves, and 700 sent up to the court for whisperers, out of all which my lord will fetch around some, I doubt it not. Come, let's away.
Aye, I will follow.
Enter King Richard, Green, Bagot, Bushy, Scroop, and Tressilian.
Our uncle will not come then.
That was his answer, flat and resolute.
And can your grace, my lord, digest these wrongs?
I tell thee, Bagot, in my heart remain such deep impressions of his churlish taunts as nothing can remove the gall thereof, till with his blood mine eyes be satisfied.
Foot, my lord, I have a trick, shall fetch him from his house at Pleshy in spite of all his favorites.
Let's have it, Tressilian, thy wit must help, or all's dashed else.
Then thus, my lord, we'll have some trusty friends disguise themselves like maskers, and this night ride down to Pleshy and offer their sports to make him merry, which he no doubt will thankfully accept. Then, in the mask, we'll have it so devised to single the Duke alone, thrust him in a masking suit, clap a vizard on his face, and so convey him out of the house at pleasure.
How if he cry and call for help?
What serves your drums but to drown his cries? And being in a mask, 'twill never be suspected.
Good faith. And to help it, my lord, La Poule, the governor of Calais, is new come over, who, with a troop of soldiers closely ambushed in the woods near the house, shall shroud themselves till the mask be ended. Then, the Duke being attached, he shall be there ready to receive him. Hurry him away to the Thames side, where a ship shall be laid ready for his coming. So secretly convey him out of the realm to Calais.
I like it well, sweet Green. And by my crown, we'll be in the mask ourself, and so shall you. Get horses ready. This night we'll ride to Pleshy, for whilst this plot's a working for the Duke, I'll set a trap for York and Lancaster. Go, Tressilian, let proclamation straight be sent, wherein thou shalt accuse the dukes of treason, and then attach, condemn, and close imprison them. Let crown and kingdom waste, yea, life and all, before King Richard see his true friends fall.
Foot, urge our suit again, he will forget it else.
These traitors once apprised, then all is sure. Our kingdom quiet, and your states secure.
Most true, sweet king. And then, your grace, as you promised, farming out the kingdom to us four shall not need to trouble yourself with any business. Tressilian shall look to the law, and will govern the land most rarely.
So, sir, the love of thee and these, my dearest Green, hath won King Richard to consent. Your suit is granted, sir. Let's see the writings.
They're here, my lord.
View them, Tressilian. Then we'll sign and seal them. Is just Tressilian?
Yeah, most just, my liege. These gentlemen here, Sir Henry Green, Sir Edward Bagot, and Sir William Bushy, and Sir Thomas Scroop, all jointly here stand bound to pay your majesty 7,000 pounds a month for this your kingdom, for which your grace by these writings surrenders to their hands all your crown lands, lordships, manors, rents, taxes, subsidies, foreign customs, all forfeitures of goods and lands confiscated, and all other duties, that is, shall or may appertain to the king's revenues. And for non-payment of these sums aforesaid, your majesty to seize the lands and goods of the said gentlemen above named, and their bodies to be imprisoned at your grace's pleasure.
How like you that, Green? Believe me, if you fail, I'll not favor ye day.
I'll ask no favor at your hands, sir.
'Tis very good. Tressilian, we make you our deputy to receive this money. Look strictly to them, I charge you.
If the money come not to my hands at the time appointed, I'll make them smoke for it.
Aye, you're an upright justice, sir. We fear ye not.
We bow with humble thanks unto his majesty that makes us tenants to so rich a lordship.
Never had English subjects such a landlord.
Nor never had English king his subjects as we four, that are able to farm a whole kingdom and pay him rent for it. Thou mayst now live at ease. We'll toil for thee and send thy money in tumbling.
We shall see your care, sir. Reach me the map. We may part the realm amongst them equally. Bagot, thy lot betwixt the Thames and the sea thus lies: Kent, Surrey, Sussex, Hampshire, Berkshire, Wiltshire, Dorsetshire, Somersetshire, Devonshire, Cornwall. These parts are thine, as ample, Bagot, as the crown is mine.
All thanks, love, duty to my princely sovereign.
Bushy, from thee shall stretch his government over these lands that lie in Wales, together with our counties of Gloucester, Worcester, Hereford, Shropshire, Staffordshire, and Cheshire. There's thy lot.
Thanks to my king that thus hath honored me.
Sir Thomas Scroop, from Trent to Tweed, thy lot is parted thus: all Yorkshire, Derbyshire, Lancashire, Westmoreland, and Northumberland. Receive thy lot, thy state and government.
With faith and duty to your highness throne.
Now, my Green, what have I left for thee? I kept thee last to make thy part the greatest. See here, sweet Green. These shires are thine. Even from the Thames to Trent thou here shalt lie, in the middle of my land.
Best of the winter. Are there any pretty wenches in my government?
Well, guess that by this. Thou hast London, Middlesex, Essex, Suffolk, Norfolk, Cambridgeshire, Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, Buckinghamshire, Oxfordshire, Northamptonshire, Leicestershire, Warwickshire, and Lincolnshire. There's your portion, sir.
Slid. I will rule like a king amongst them, and thou shalt rule like an emperor over us.
And now to attach our stubborn uncles. Let warrants be sent down, Tressilian, for Gaunt and York, Surrey and Arundel. Your places are not sure while they have breath. Away to Pleshy. Let our mask be ready. Beware, plain Thomas, for King Richard comes, resolved with blood to wash all former wrongs.
Pleshy House. Enter Woodstock and his Duchess of Gloucester with Cheney.
Queen so sick, come, make haste, good wife. Thou'lt be belated, sure. 'Tis night already. On with thy cloak and mask, to horse, to horse.
Good troth, my lord, I have no mind to ride. I have been dull and heavy all this day. My sleeps were troubled with sad dreams last night, and I am full of fear and heaviness. Pray, let me ride tomorrow.
What, and the queen so sick? Away for shame. Stay for a dream? Thus dreamt, I'm sure, ere this.
Never so fearful were my dreams till now. I beheld you murdered cruelly.
Ah, murdered? Alack, good lady, didst thou dream of me? Take comfort then, all dreams are contrary.
Pray God it prove so, for my soul is fearful. Methought as you were ranging through the woods, an angry lion with a herd of wolves had in an instant round encompassed you, when to your rescue, against the course of kind, a flock of silly sheep made head against them, bleating for help, against whom the forest king roused up his strength and slew both you and them. This fear affrights me.
Come, 'tis nothing. What, are her horses ready?
They are, my lord.
Where lies the queen, sir?
At Sheen, my lord, most sick and so much altered that those about her fear her sudden death.
Forfended heaven, away, make haste, I charge ye. What, weeping now? For my God, thou art fond. Come, I know thou art no augurer of ill. Dry up thy tears, this kiss and part. Farewell.
That farewell from your lips to me sounds ill. Where'er I go, my fears will follow still.
See her to horseback, Chaney. For my God, 'tis late, and but important business craves such haste. She had not gone from Pleshy House tonight. But woe is me, the good Queen Anne is sick, and by my soul my heart is sad to hear it. Her charity hath stayed the commons' rage that would ere this have shaken Richard's chair, or set all England on a burning fire. And for my God, I fear when she is gone, this woeful land will all to ruin run. How now, Chaney, what, is thy lady gone yet?
He is, my lord, with much unwillingness, and 'tis so dark I cannot blame her grace. The lights of heaven are shut in pitchy clouds, and flakes of fire run tilting through the sky like dim Austins to some great tragedy.
Oh, God bless good Annabine. I fear her death will be the tragic scene the sky foreshows us. Pray God, King Richard's wild behavior force not the powers of heaven to frown upon us. My prayers are still for him. What thinkst thou, Chaney? May not plain Thomas live a time to see this state attain her former royalty? For God, I doubt it not. My heart is merry, and I am suddenly inspired for mirth. Ha! What sport shall we have tonight, Chaney?
I am glad to see your grace addicted so, for I have news of sudden mirth to tell ye, which, till I heard you speak, I durst not utter. We shall have a mass tonight, my lord.
Ha! A mask, sayest thou? What are they, Chaney?
It seems, my lord, some country gentlemen, to show their dear affection to your grace, proffer their sports this night to make you merry.
I prithee, let them enter. Tell them we do embrace their loves most kindly. They come in love, and we'll accept it so. Some sport does well. We're all too full of woe. General welcome, courteous gentlemen. For my God, it joys my heart to see, amidst these days of woe and misery, you find a time for harmless mirth and sport. Ah, sir, you come like knights to hunt the boar, indeed. In heaven he knows we had need of helping hands. So many wild boars root and spoil our lands that England almost is destroyed by them. I care not if King Richard heard me speak it. I wish his grace all good, high heaven can tell. I ever yet was just and true to him, and so will still remain. What's now amiss? Our sins have caused, and we must bid heaven's will. I speak my heart, I am plain Thomas still. How now, Chaney?
I fear your person is betrayed, my lord. The house is round beset with armed soldiers.
No, arm the household, Chaney. Hear me, gentlemen. For God, I do not like this whispering. If your intents be honest, show your faces.
Guard, fasten the doors and seize him presently. Bagot, arrest him.
Am I betrayed?
Thomas of Woodstock, Duke of Gloucester, I here arrest thee in King Richard's name of treason to the crown, his state, and realm.
I'll put in bail and answer to the law. Speak, is King Richard here?
No, my lord. Away with him.
Villain, touch me not. I am descended of the royal blood. King Richard's uncle, his grandsire's son, his princely father's brother.
Put on a vizard. Stop his cries.
Ah, who bids them so? I know that voice full well. Before my God, false men, King Richard is here. Turn thee, thou headstrong youth, and speak again. By thy dead father's soul, I charge thee, hear me.
Stop's mouth, his say. We'll hear no more.
Good heaven, forgive me. Pray ye forbear a while. Some man commend me to my virtuous wife. Tell her dreams have ta'en effect indeed. By wolves and lions now must Woodstock bleed.
Deliver him to Liverpool. The ship lies ready. Convey him over to Calais speedily. And when you're past the house, cast by your habits and mount your horses with all swiftest haste. The boar is taken and our fears are past.
Queen Anne's house at Sheen. Enter Crosby, Fleming, and Nimble.
The high shreves of Kent and Northumberland with 20 gentlemen are all arrested for privy whisperers against the state, in which I know my lord will find some trick to seize their goods. And then there's work for us.
Hey, there will be work for the hangman first. Then we rifle the goods and my lord seizes the lands.
See, he's coming.
Art thou there, Nimble?
I'm here, my lord. Here's a note of 700 whisperers, most of them sleepy knaves we pulled out of Bedfordshire.
Let's see the note. 700 whispering traitors. What are they, Crosby? Are they rebels wealthy?
Fat chuffs, my lord, all landed men, rich farmers, graziers, and such fellows that having been but a little pinched with imprisonment, begin already to offer their lands for liberty.
Will not be nice to take their offers, Crosby. Go, sirs, to terrify the traitors more. Ye shall have warrants straight to hang them all. Then, if they proffer lands and put in bail to make a just surrender speedily, let them have lives, and after liberty. But those who have nor lands nor goods to pay, let them be whipped, then hanged. Make haste away. Oh, here comes Sir Edward Bagot.
Right happily met, my lord Tressilian.
You're well returned to the court, Sir Edward, to the sad house of Sheen, made comfortless by the sharp sickness of the good Queen Anne.
Good King Richard's come and gone to visit her. Sad for her weak estate, he sits and weeps. Her speech is gone. Only at sight of him she heaved her hands and closed her eyes again, and whether alive or dead is yet uncertain.
Here comes Sir William Bushy. What tidings, sir?
The king's a widower, sir. Fair Anne Abeam hath breathed her last farewell to all the realm.
My dearest lord, forsake these sad laments. No sorrows can suffice to make her live.
Then let sad sorrow kill King Richard too, for Anne Abeam is dead, forever gone. Such sad events black mischief will attend, and bloody acts, I fear, must crown the end.
Oh, dear my liege, all tears for her are vain oblations. Her quiet soul rests in celestial peace. But joy of that, let all your sorrow cease.
Send post to Calais, and bid Liverpool forbear on pain of life to act our sad decree. For heaven's love, go, prevent the tragedy. We have too much provoked the powers divine, and here repent thy wrongs, good Uncle Woodstock. Come, let's go. My wounds are inward burn my woe.
The prison at Calais. Enter Liverpool with a light. After him, the two murderers.
Come, sirs, be resolute. The time serves well to act the business you have ta'en in hand. The Duke is gone to rest. Be fearless bold, and win King Richard's love with heaps of gold. Are all your instruments for death made ready?
All fit to the purpose. See, my lord, here's a towel with which we do intend to strangle him. But if he should strive and this should chance to fail, I'll maul his old mazzard with this hammer. Knock him down like an ox, and after cut his throat. How like this?
No, wound him not. It must be done so fair and cunningly as if he died a common natural death. So we must give out to all that ask.
There is no other way then but to smother him.
'Tis well resolved. Retire yourselves a while, and when occasion serves, I'll call you forth.
Do but beckon with your finger, my lord, and like vultures we come flying and seize him presently.
Do so. Oh, now by my fairest hopes, I swear the boldness of these villains to this murder makes me abhor them and the deed forever. The king commands his uncle here must die, and my sad conscience bids the contrary. But there's no lingering. Either he must die, or great Richard vows my tragedy. Then twixt two evils, 'tis good to choose the least. He sleeps upon his bed. Sleep, Woodstock, sleep. Thou nevermore shalt wake. This town of Calais shall forever tell, within her castle walls plain Thomas fell.
The ghost of Edward the Black Prince is come to stay rage my wanton son. Thomas of Woodstock, wake! Thy calls thee! The royal issue of King Edward's loins. Thou art beset with murder. Rise and fly! If here thou stay, death comes and thou must die! Still dost thou sleep? I am naught but air. Oh, yet for pity wake, prevent thy doom. God upon my son will surely come. For which, dear brother Woodstock, haste and fly. Prevent his ruin and thy tragedy.
Sleeps thou so soundly, and pale death so nigh? Thomas of Woodstock, wake, my son, and fly! Thy wrongs have roused thy royal father's ghost, and from his quiet grave King Edward's come to guard thy innocent life. My princely son, behold me here. Sometimes fair England's lord, 7 warlike sons I left, yet being gone, no one succeeded my kingly throne. Richard of Bordeaux, my accursed grandchild, cut off your titles to the kingly state, and now your lives and all would ruinate. Thy brothers York and Gaunt are up in arms. Go join with them. Prevent thy further harms. The murderers are at hand. Awake, my son. This hour foretells thy sad destruction.
Good angels guide me. Stay, thou blessed spirit. The doors are all made fast. 'Twas but my fancy. All's whist and still, and nothing here appears but the vast circuit of this empty room. For my God, methought as here I slept, I did behold in lively form, in substance, my father Edward and my warlike brother, both gliding to my bed, and cried to me to leave this place, to save my life and fly. If I must die, bear record, righteous heaven, oh, I have nightly waked for England's good, and yet to right her wrongs would spend my blood. Send thy sad doom, King Richard, take my life. I wish my death might ease my country's grief.
My lord, how fare you?
Thou canst not kill me, villain.
Oh, your grace mistakes, my lord.
What art thou speak?
Lapoole, my lord, this city's governor.
Lapoole, thou art King Richard's flatterer. O you just gods, record their treachery. Judge their foul wrongs that under show of friendship betrayed my simple kind intendiments. My heart misgave it was no time for revels, when you like maskers came disguised to Pleshy, joined the wanton king to trap my life, for that I knows the end his malice aims at.
Nay, good my lord, forbear that fond suspicion.
Tell me, Poole, there is no less intended. Why am I sent thus from my native country, but here at Calais to be murdered?
Oh, disquiet not your thoughts, my gracious lord. There is no hurt intended, credit me. I know the king. If you would but submit and write your letters to his majesty, your reconcilement might be easily wrought.
No, no, Lapoole, let guilty men beg pardons. My mind is clear, and I must tell you, sir, princes have hearts like pointed diamonds that will in sunder burst afore they bend, and such lives here, though death King Richard send. Yet fetch me pen and ink, I'll write to him, not to entreat, but to admonish him, that he forsake his foolish ways in time, and learn to govern like a virtuous prince. This counsel, if he follow, may in time pull down those mischiefs that so fast do climb.
Here's pen and paper, my lord.
Good night, Lepoole, and pardon, I prithee, that my sad fear made question of thy faith. Out of my better judgment I repented, and will reward thy love. Once more, good night.
Good rest unto your grace. I mean in death, this dismal night, thou breathest thy latest breath.
So help me heaven, I know not what to write. My method is too plain to greet a king. I'll nothing say to excuse or clear myself, for I have nothing done that needs excuse. But tell him plain, though here I spend my blood, I wish his safety and all England's good.
Creep close to his back, you rogue. Be ready with the towel when I have knocked him down to strangle him.
Do it quickly whilst his back is towards ye, ye damn villain. If thou lets him speak but a word, we shall not kill him.
Have mercy, God, my sight of the sudden fails me. I cannot see my papers. My trembling fingers will not hold my pen. A thick congealed mist o'erspreads the chamber. I'll rise and view the room.
Not too fast for falling.
What villain hand hath done a deed so bad to drench his black soul in a prince's blood?
Do you prate, sir? Take that and that. Put the towel about his throat and strangle him quickly, or by the heart of hell I'll fell thee too.
'Tis done. Pull, ye dog, and pull thy soul to hell in doing it, for thou hast killed the truest soul that ever breathed in England.
Pull, rogue, pull! There goes the gold we shall have for doing it, and then let him and thee go to the devil together.
Zoons, he kicks and sprawls. Lie on his breast, ye villain.
Let him sprawl in a hag. He's sure enough for speaking. Smooth out his hair and beard. And close his eyes. Set his neck right. So, all fine and cleanly. Who could say that this man was murdered now?
What, is he dead?
As a doornail, my lord. What will we do with the body?
Take it up gently, lay him in his bed, then shut the door as if he there had died.
It cannot be perceived otherwise, my lord. Never was murder done with such rare skill. At our return, we shall expect reward, my lord.
Oh, 'tis ready told. Bear in the body, then return and take it. Within there, ho!
My lord.
Be ready with your weapons. Guard the room. There's 2 false traitors entered the Duke's chamber, plotting to bear him thence. Therefore stand close, and as they enter, seize them presently. Our will's your warrant. Use no further words, but hew them straight to pieces with your swords.
Lord ye, my lord, and their skins were scaled with brass. We have swords, we'll pierce them. Come, sirs, be ready.
Come, you rascal. The deed's done and all things performed rarely. We'll take our reward and steal close out of the town.
Give their reward there. Quick, I say.
Down with traitors. Kill the villains.
Hell and the devil, zoons, hold, ye rascals!
Drag hence their bodies, hurl them into the sea. So, this was well performed. Now who but we can make report of Woodstock's tragedy? Only he died a natural death at Calais. So must we give it out, or else King Richard through Europe's kingdom will be hardly censured. His headstrong uncles, York and Lancaster, are up we hear in arms against him, to help which harm I'll lord England straight. And with the troops of soldiers ta'en from Calais, I'll back King Richard's power. For should he fail, and his great uncles get the victory, his friends are sure to die. But if he win, they fall, and we shall rise, whilst Richard's king.
These proclamations we have sent abroad, wherein we have accused the dukes of treason, will dent their pride and make the people leave them. I hope no less, at least. Where art thou, Nimble?
Oh, loaden with armor, I cannot stir, my lord.
Whose drums are those that beat even now?
King Richard's drums, my lord. The young lords are pressing soldiers.
Oh, and do they take their press with willingness?
No sooner turn their backs, but they run away like sheep, sir.
They shall be hanged like dogs for it. What, dare the rogues refuse their sovereign?
They say the proclamation's false, my lord.
So I feared as much. And since 'tis come to this, I must provide betime and seek for safety. Nimble, our soldiers run, thou say'st?
Aye, by my troth, my lord, and I think 'tis our best course to run after them, for if they run now, what will they do when the battle begins?
Nimble, we must be wise.
Then let's not stay to have more wit beaten into our heads. I like not that, sir.
I am a man of peace and not of war.
And yet they say you made more wrangling in the land than all the wars have done this 7 years.
But hearest thou, Nimble? I'll not be there today. One man among so many is no maim. Therefore, I'll keep aloof till all be done. If good, I stay. If bad, away I run. Nimble, it shall be so. I'll neither fight nor die, but this resolved, disguise myself and fly.
'Tis the wisest course, my lord. I'll go put off mine armor that I may run lustily too.
Go to our tents, dear sister. Cease your sorrows. We will revenge our noble brother's wrongs and force that wanton tyrant to reveal the death of his dear uncle, harmless Woodstock.
His plainness was too open to their view. He feared no wrong because his heart was true.
May all the powers of heaven assist your hands, and may their sins sit heavy on their souls, that they in death this day may perish all that traitorously conspired good Woodstock's fall.
If he be dead, by good King Edward's soul, we'll call King Richard to a strict account for that and for his realm's misgovernment.
Most princely Lancaster, our lands and lives are to these just proceedings ever vowed.
Those flattering minions that o'errun the state, this day in death shall meet their endless fate.
To arms, my lords! The minions of the king are swiftly marching on to give ye battle.
They march to the death then, Cheney. Dare the traitors presume to brave the field with English princes?
Where is King Richard? He was resolved but lately to take some hold of strength and so secure him.
Knowing their states were all so desperate, it seems they have persuaded otherwise. For now he comes with full resolve to fight. Lapoule this morning is arrived at court with the Calais soldiers and some French supplies to back this now intended enterprise.
Their drums are near. Just heaven direct this deed, and as our cause deserves, our fortune speed.
Although we could have easily surprised, dispersed, and overthrown your rebel troops that draw your swords against our sacred person, yet of our mild and princely clemency we have forborne, that by this parliament we might be made partaker of the cause that moved you rise in this rebellious sort.
Hast thou, King Richard, made us infamous by proclamations false and impudent? Hast thou condemned us in our absence too as most notorious traitors to the crown? Betrayed our brother Woodstock's harmless life and sought base means to put us all to death? And dost thou now plead dotish ignorance why we are landed thus in our defense?
Methinks your treasons to his majesty, raising his subjects against his royal life, should make ye beg for mercy at his feet.
For shame, King Richard, leave this company, that like dark clouds obscure the sparkling stars of thy great birth and true nobility.
I cannot brook these braves. Let drums sound death, and strike at once to stop this traitor's breath. Traitors to heaven and to us. Draw all your swords and fling defiance to those traitorous lords.
Let drums thunder and begin the fight.
Just heaven protect us and defend the right.
Stand, traitor, for thou canst not scape my sword.
What villain fronts me with the name of traitor? Wast thou, false Cheney? Now, by King Richard's love, I'll tilt thy soul out for that base reproach.
This shall suffice to free the kingdom from thy villainies.
noble game, right warlike Cheney. Yield thee, false traitor, most detested man that sets King Richard against his reverend uncles, to shed the royal blood and make the realm weep for their timeless desolation. Cast down thy weapons, for by this my sword will bear thee from this place, dead or alive.
Come both then. I'll stand firm and dare your worst. He that flies from it be his soul accursed.
So may the foes of England fall in blood. Most dissolute traitor.
Oh, princely youth, King Richard's dearest friend. What heavy star this day had dominance to cut off all thy flowering youthful hopes? Hard-hearted uncles, unrelenting churls that here have murdered all my earthly joys. Oh, my dear Green, wert thou alive to see how I'll revenge thy timeless tragedy on all their heads that did but lift a hand to hurt this body that I held so dear, even by this kiss. And by my crown, I swear.
Away, my lord, stand not to wail his death. The field is lost. Our soldiers shrink and fly. Lapoule is taken prisoner by the lords. Hie to the tower. There is no help in swords.
Bill to continue war were childishness. Their odds a mountain, ours a molehill is.
Let's fly to London and make strong the tower. Get safety for our lives, my princely lord. If here we stay, we shall be all betrayed.
Oh, my dear friends, the fearful wrath of heaven sits heavy on our heads for Woodstock's death. Blood cries for blood, and that almighty hand permits not murder unrevenged to stand. Come, we yet may hide ourselves from worldly strength, but heaven will find us out and strike at length.
Where art thou, Nimble?
As light as a feather, my lord. I have put off my shoes that I might run lustily. The battle's lost and they're all prisoners. What shall we do, my lord? Yonder's a ditch. We may run along that and ne'er be seen, I warrant.
I did suspect no less, and so 'tis fallen. The day is lost, and dashed are all our hopes. Oh, that I were upon some steepy rock where I might tumble headlong into the sea before those cruel lords do seize on me.
Oh, that I were transformed into a mouse, that I might creep into any hole in the house, and I cared not.
Come, Nimble, 'tis no time to use delay. I'll keep me in this poor disguise a while, and so unknown prolong my weary life, in hope King Richard shall conclude my peace. Retreat is sounded. Now the time serves fit, and we may steal from hence. Away, good Nimble.
Nay, stay, my lord. Slid, and if you'll be ruled by me, I have thought of a trick that ye shall scape them all most bravely.
Bethink thyself, good Nimble. Quickly, man.
I'll meditate, my lord, and then I'm for ye. Now, Nimble, show thyself a man of valor. Think of thy fortunes. 'Tis a hanging matter if thou conceal him. Besides, there's 1,000 marks for them that takes him, with the duke's favors and free pardon. My lord, I have thought upon this trick. I must take ye prisoner.
How prisoner?
There's no way to escape else. Then must I carry you to the king's uncles, who presently condemn you for a traitor, send you away to hanging, and then God bless my lord Tressilian.
Wilt thou betray thy master, villain?
Aye, if my master be a villain. You think 'tis nothing for a man to be hanged for his master? You hear not the proclamation.
What proclamation?
Oh, sir, the country's full of them. That whosoever sees you, does not presently take you, and bring you to the lords, shall be hanged for his labor. Therefore, no more words, lest I raise the whole camp upon you. You see one of your own swords of justice drawn over you. Therefore, go quietly.
Oh, villain!
No more words. Away, sir.
And thus princely Edward's sons, in tender care of wanton Richard and their father's realm, have toiled to purge fair England's pleasant field of all those rancorous weeds that choked the grounds and left her pleasant meads like barren hills. Oh, how now? What traitor's there?
The traitor now is ta'en. I here present the villain, and if he needs will know his name, God bless my lord Tressilian.
Tressilian, my lord, attached and apprehended by this man.
Yes, and it please you, my lord, 'twas I that took him. There was once a trampler in the law after him, and I thank him he taught me this trick to save myself from hanging.
Thou art a good lawyer, and hast removed the cause from thyself fairly.
What moved thee, being his man, to apprehend him?
Partly for the causes. First, the fear of the proclamation, for I have plodded and plowden and can find no law.
Uh-huh.
All right, and that brings us to the end of the text we have for Thomas of Woodstock. We're now going to shift into our Q&A session. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat, and I'm going to hand things over to our director and dramaturg of tonight's reading, Emily.
Thank you so much, Charlene. And thank you all, everyone who's tuned in for joining us tonight, and all of the actors here. I want to make sure that I've restored everyone. So just give me a shout if I don't see you. Yes, and come back on if you are not on. So I wanted to, because we just have such an amazing opportunity here to talk about this play in conjunction with your own production of Richard, which has a lot of characters in common, though obviously there's the focus here is different. But I was wondering, Gary, if I could ask you first, and then others who are portraying the same characters as in Richard II, if you might speak to the experience in portraying the same historical person, but in a completely new story.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll say is that he's a very different person, between the two shows. And what I would really like is to do this one in person and not over a Zoom, because where in Shakespeare's Richard II, we only get that one really fun scene with the flatterers, with the caterpillars, where we get to jump into each other's arms and drink champagne and all these really fun, energetic things, active things. Here, it's pretty much all time with the caterpillars. And so I can just imagine all the fun things that we could do if we were on stage jumping and running around together. So that's kind of a sad little thing. On the other...
Much younger, right? Like there's so much reference to his youth.
Yes, which is not typical for me when I'm being cast. So, but it's a really good time. The other thing that I'll say is that in Shakespeare's Richard II, we get to play with Richard's intellect a lot. Because given the speeches that he speaks and everything, you do have to believe that he is just really sharp. And here he's quite obviously deluded by these villains. And so you can't make too many assumptions about his intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else who played a similar character tonight, or who played a completely different character, want to comment on that relationship?
I noticed something that is just a very small textual thing, but there's a very prominent speech in Richard II that the Duke of York has, which begins, "God for his mercy!" And he actually says that twice in this play.
Wow.
Who knew?
Maybe Shakespeare? We don't know.
I will also chime in to say that it's fun to get to play the Duchess of Gloucester and actually be in the play. Because in Richard II, she's in Act 1, Scene 2, and in a blistering rage about the fact that her husband has been murdered and that nothing's really been done about it. And then she's gone. That's it. She never shows up again in the play. And so it's been really cool to get to sort of see where, if we were to fully link these two plays, to see where she starts and carries through, and what does carry through into Richard II. So it's been really neat to give this character more gumption, I guess.
It feels like she, more than others, it feels connected. Like the character that shows up in Richard, it feels more connected, whereas there's some characters like Green, for example, who are dead at the end of this play and alive at the beginning of Richard II. So that's one thing that makes it difficult to carry over.
Yeah, and it's also cool because like the Duchess in Richard II really feels like she's kind of almost in a different world a little bit, especially the way that we staged it when we were doing the show back in the winter. And it's cool to see that actually, that the carryover works in that manner.
Charlene, are there any other questions coming in?
Yeah, we had one question come in so far, wanting to know about whether you had any thought or any temptation to create an ending for this reading.
Whether I did.
Yes, or us in general.
Yeah. No. I think as someone who identifies as both a theater practitioner and a scholar, I think that you know, I never wanted to fix the play. And I think that's something at Brave Spirits that we often talk about trying to just deal with what we have and working within kind of the conflicts and the inconsistencies. So in this case, yeah, I just wanted it to play as it's written, and then we could speculate about what happens, but we just don't know. So yeah, I wanted to leave it open-ended.
Of course, on the very rare occasions that this play does get performed, people have written endings for it in order to stage a production. But does anyone want to then surmise how the play might come to an end? Or also, I know Jacqueline, I think, had a response to the earlier question, which we can throw in that too while we give a chance for any more questions to come through the YouTube chat.
I mean, sure. I think the thing I'd kind of say on that is that even though the flatterers do die at the end of this one, so it's not an exact like carry through, there's still so much, they do so much more and they feel much more fleshed out in this play as opposed to in Richard II, and yet they get so much, there's so much about who they are that is talked about in Richard II and is so pivotal to what's going on that they really do feel like there's some companion piece going on. And it was like, oh, I don't have to talk much about who the flatterers are, because as soon as I say Bushy, Bagot, and Green, everyone in the audience knows exactly who they are. And so I don't have to waste time talking about them. I can talk about some of these other people who are there too, and everyone just knows who they are. So that was really interesting to me as we read through, and the other places where those connections existed as well, where there are characters that we mainly see in like this very formal court, but there's clearly background there, and this play seems to flesh out some of that background in some very interesting ways.
I'll build on the caterpillars just a little bit, because pretty much the same idea is that I'd almost imagined when I was first reading this play as if the end hadn't really happened. You know, the caterpillars were still alive, and then we skip over to Richard II, Shakespeare's Richard II, and now there's a new relationship because things sort of turned downhill after this plan that they had convinced Richard to follow. And so those scenes that we have, you know, in the first half of Richard II, at least in our production, you know, there's a level of, you know, like, I'm following you, but I'm not necessarily doing everything that you're saying. Richard sort of filters some of their advice in our Richard II. And so imagining those two sort of going together, as in you fooled me once and now I'm a little bit wiser for it, has been a sort of interesting thing to contemplate.
You can see why it's so tempting for people to want to kind of put these texts together.
Definitely.
Tom, did you have something?
Well, yeah, and it's sort of a question for you, Emily, because what would be missing between the end of this and the beginning of a Richard II, if they were going to be of a piece, is what is the mechanism by which Richard could still be king? You know, what is in that last scene that we don't have? That's like right now, it's kind of like a Scooby-Doo wrap up with the funny nimble and all that, but.
Yeah.
How does Richard come in and acquit himself and say, you know, I messed up, but yeah, I'll be king and you can be in charge of me for a while? That would be something you would have to write, I assume, right?
Yeah, and I mean, this is loosely based on kind of rebellions and uprisings and conflicts that happened during Richard's reign, leading up to the moment that Shakespeare dramatizes. So there were conflicts like this that did potentially threaten his rule, but he got through them. And so it is. Yeah. I mean, there must be maybe some kind of agreement that Richard and the uncles have to come to kind of to move forward.
That would probably be in the missing pages that we don't have here. That would have to be, you would think.
You would think that Richard would show up again at the end. Yeah, but we just don't know.
No.
And of course, I wonder then also if that agreement has something to do with, what happens to Tressilian. Does he get punished or not?
Oh.
Does he get scapegoated?
Oh, yeah, true. Does he die along with Green? I don't know.
Sure.
We had, on that sort of question, because Tom was mentioning the Scooby-Doo nature, and it would be interesting if that was followed by an execution or a planned execution. We had a question about how you handled the tonal shifts between and the balance between the comic and the serious in this play, particularly during around Woodstock's murder.
Well, I mean, I'll let Dean or Caroline or Annette or John talk about that scene. But I just wanted to say it's just such a those murderers are so familiar to Shakespeare fans.
I mean, they're definitely, they're Richard III, they're in Macbeth. Like, we know these characters, and like there's that specific tone of the extremely dark clown that it's familiar enough to audiences that I don't think you have to strike the balance. You just lean into the weirdness and the depravity, and there it is.
Yeah, I think it was written with two very different styles that sort of that very dark comedy style, and then something that's a bit more serious. And the best thing you can do to support either the comedy or the drama is just play it straight and play the scene as it's written.
It's of course also interesting that in this play we get a very traditional stock early modern clown in the figure of Nimble, which Shakespeare uses, but in his history plays he tends to grow them into something a little more complicated. And it's also interesting to me because I know in next week's readings we're going to get another one of these very stock clowns in the figure of Derek in the famous victories of Henry V. So I don't know, Emily or Ian, if you had any comments on Nimble's position within this play and what it was like playing him.
I mean, the place he's put is fun because it's like he's a villain's assistant, which is fun, right? Like he's a lower class character as they wreak their terror on the lower classes, and Nimble's pretty amoral about it, right? He's like, cool, we have these blank things that give us money. So I think that's kind of neat. There's different ways to do the comic characters, and you don't always have them working for one of the bad guys. Although Tressilian is a kind of a silly bad guy too, compared to the other flatterers, right? He's a little bit more ridiculously pleased that he's attained this exalted position. I don't know.
He's definitely different from the flatterers in that he doesn't have a title. I believe it
seems like he's just a lawyer that they found
that a lawyer, and
would be their bidding.
Risen up to this height.
Look, we found a William Barr to sign off on anything we want.
Yeah.
I was hearing some kind of resonances. I don't want to get into it, but there were certain lines tonight where I was like, oh, that's familiar.
Looks like we've got one final question from the YouTube chat. One of our audience members wanted to know if knowing Richard II so well and having worked on that play made anything more difficult about then mounting Thomas of Woodstock.
I mean, I think I speak for everyone here when I say that all of us as actors loved Richard II, and we loved that text and we loved performing that play and performing it with each other. But I think loving it so much, it was hard to come to this sort of completely different universe and to treat it as its own separate play with its own completely different storyline, because we've kind of been connecting all the plays that we've been doing for the last year. And this was kind of a situation where we had to do the opposite.
Well, I found it pretty easy because Bolingbroke's off in Lithuania somewhere. And I just get to like watch it's my old friends. Oh, it's the Duke of York. I miss that guy.
When the characters, John of God is so different in this that it's more like playing an alternate universe. It's like Dean was sort of suggesting that, here is its own story and here's how this character is in this world. It would be tough to connect him over the two plays.
Yeah, I have to let go a little bit.
For sure. I mean, like I found myself just trying to tap into, the spirit of the Richard that we'd been performing, in our Richard II, just be, sort of impetuous and all these things that were sort of pillars of the guy that I was playing before. But then otherwise, just he's got to be totally different. The way that he puts thoughts together, the way that he, relates to his friends and his enemies is just different. And so, yeah, like Emily said, it was just letting go of a lot of things and just enjoying this different version for what it is.
Excellent. Well, unless there's anyone in the cast who has something they want to share, who maybe hasn't gotten a chance to, we're going to wrap up tonight by presenting a scene from Shakespeare's Richard II. Not in an attempt, like I said, to fix this play, to offer an ending of any kind, but I wanted to give a chance for you to see these wonderful actors in their performances in this scene. And if you do know the play Richard II, this happens very early on in the play. They've mentioned this character of Gloucester. They've talked about his death, but we haven't seen it and we never meet him. And so I wanted to offer this scene to you, you having seen, this man in this story, and I wanted to see, how this scene might, be heard differently. It might feel very different when you have know this man, Woodstock, or Gloucester, as they call him. So I'm going to invite Tom and Molly to do this scene, and that will be it. So thank you for joining us, and take it away whenever you're ready.
You ready, Molly?
Yeah.
Okay. Alas, the part I had in Woodstock's blood doth more solicit me than your exclaims to stir against the butchers of his life. But since correction lieth in those hands which made the fault that we cannot correct, put we our quarrel to the will of heaven.
Finds brotherhood in thee no sharper spur? Hath love in thy old blood no living fire? Edward's 7 sons, whereof thyself art one, whereas 7 vials of his sacred blood, or 7 fair branches springing from one root. Some of those 7 are dried by nature's course, some of those branches by the destinies cut. But Thomas, my dear lord, my life, my Gloucester, 1 vial full of Edward's sacred blood, 1 flourishing branch of his most royal root is cracked, and all the precious liquor spilt is hacked down, and to summer leaves all faded by envy's hand and murder's bloody axe. Oh God, his blood was thine. That bed, that womb, that metal, that self-mold that fashioned thee made him a man, and though thou livest and breathest, yet art thou slain in him. Thou dost consent in some large measure to thy father's death, and that thou seest thy wretched brother die, who was the model of thy father's life. Call it not patience, Gaunt, it is despair. In suffering thus thy brother to be slaughtered, thou showest the naked pathway to thy life, teaching stern murder how to butcher thee. What shall I say? To safeguard thine own life, the best way is to venge my Gloucester's death.
God's is the quarrel. For God's substitute, his deputy anointed in his sight, hath caused his death, the which, if wrongfully, let heaven revenge, for I may never lift an angry arm against his minister.
Where then, alas, may I complain myself?
To God, the widow's champion and defense.
Why, then I will. Farewell, old Gaunt. Thou goest to Coventry, there to behold our cousin Hereford and fell Mowbray fight? Oh, sit my husband's wrongs on Hereford's spear, that it may enter butcher Mowbray's breast. Farewell, old Gaunt. Thy sometimes brother's wife with her companion grief must end her life.
Sister, farewell. I must to Coventry. As much good stay with thee as goes with me.
Yet one word more. Grief boundeth where it falls, not with the empty hollowness, but wait. Commend me to thy brother, Edmund York.
Oh, please.
Lo, this is all. Nay, yet depart not so. Though this be all, do not so quickly go. I shall remember more. Bid him, what? With all good speed at Pleshy visit me. Alack! And what shall good old York there see but empty lodgings and unfurnished walls, unpeopled offices, untrodden stones, and what here therefore welcome but my groans? Therefore commend me. Let him not come there to seek out sorrow that dwells everywhere. Desolate, desolate will I hence and die. The last leave of thee takes my weeping eye.